What'd you do if you had a lot of dough? Big money, I mean.
Well, let's see now. First of all, I'd resign from the Federal Department of Taxation and Revenue. And then, well, I don't know. Maybe I'd get married or take a trip around the world.
Why don't you? Why don't you do it without waiting for the dough?
Because I don't swim well enough, that's why.
No, I mean, why don't you get married? You and Pat Fruit are getting to be old friends by this. And I'd love to hear the patter of little feet.
You've got some hope without a girl.
Not me, you dope, you.
Now, there's an idea. That new whistle raiser in records, what's her name? Mary something or other.
Her name's Mary Bridget Kennedy.
Scandinavian, huh? Now, what more could you want than her, Marty?
Monroe?
Nonsense. A pipe dream. Keep your feet on the ground, Marty, and I'll have you walking on air. You and Bridget Kennedy.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
Marty, it's a wonderful idea. And you know what I'll do the day you get engaged?
Yeah. You'll go to your son's 21st birthday party.
T-Men, the true-to-life adventures of those men whose job it is to discover and bring to account those citizens who, by concealment, deception, or fraud, evade their lawful taxes. T-Men with Gordon Glenwright as Jack Ketch. Here is Jack Ketch, one of this nation's T-Men, to tell you the case of Marty's bride.
This is a great country. It takes a lot of money to run and keep running. That's why we have taxes. Taxes are... Well, what are you looking so happy about? Didn't you take Mary Bridget out to lunch?
I did, and I'm happy to be able to tell you no dice.
No?
She ate steak.
Well, what's wrong with that?
On a Friday, in a seafood restaurant. My aunts would never allow me to have anything to do with a girl who eats steak.
Objection overruled, Fatso. Take a look at the calendar. Today's Thursday, right up till midnight.
Thursday? Oh, no. Oh, no, Jack, it can't be. Oh, this is terrible.
Well, what's terrible about it?
Well, thinking it was Friday, and because of her eating habits, I was perfectly safe. I experimented a little.
Experimented? Do tell.
And I said things to her that... Oh, Jack, this is awful.
Yeah? What did you say to her?
Never you mind. All I want to know is, where do I go to buy a couple of etchings in a hurry?
Marty Burke was really scared his friends in the department were going to marry him off to this girl. Not that it wouldn't have been a bad idea. I was sitting there musing on the picture of Marty pushing a pram with twins in it and screaming to high heaven, I still don't get it, when the intercom blew its top. Yep, Catch investigation.
Oh, Jack, Charlie on the desk. You want a visitor? A guy who says he used to work here, named Kneebone, Leonard Kneebone.
Limpy Kneebone? Sure, send him around.
On his way, Jackie boy.
Say, Charlie, I've been meaning to ask you for a couple of weeks. How's the baby coming along?
Baby? Me?
Well, didn't your ball and chain present you with a handcuff a couple of months back?
Oh, you mean young Merton?
Yeah. How is he? Got a tooth yet?
Jack, Merton started high school last week.
Clever kid. High school, huh?
Johnny Catch!
Limpy, come in. How's the boy? Brother, is it good to see you?
That goes for me, too, Johnny. The old place hasn't changed a bit. A few new faces since I was here, that's all.
Where are you living now, Limpy? Say, how's the racket? Tell me all about yourself. Gosh, I haven't seen you in years.
Well, let's see what comes first. After I left here, I decided to cash in on the only thing I knew, investigation. So I became a private eye.
Good idea. How's it coming along?
Pretty good, Johnny. I make nearly 4 times what I'd make if I was still here. And I sell a bit of taxation advice to special customers, too.
Nice going. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't you move over the state line after you left here?
That's right. Like the climate better. I got a sharp house, 3 kids, and the usual mortgage. How about you?
No mortgage. In fact...
Ah, swell. I knew you'd turn into a family man. You can always tell.
Now, just a minute.
Look, what do you say we skip the gossip until, over a beer, huh? I'm really here on business, so let's get down to it, huh?
Business? What have you been up to, Limpy? Putting in phony tax returns?
Yeah.
Hey, you're dead serious.
You bet your life I am. I'm in deep, Johnny. Come to you for help.
Well, as you know, the department always tries to...
Not to the department. To you.
What do you mean?
Look, Johnny. So far, you boys haven't caught up with me. Having been in the department myself, I know a few tricks in the game. And it's only a matter of time. I want it fixed before it's too late, see?
Fixed?
Well, I've understated my income over the past 4 years by around about $20,000, Johnny. I haven't got that sort of money in the bank, but I have got $5,000. Catch on?
For me?
Uh-huh. For you.
And this is for you, Limpy. Now, get up and get out while they're still in one piece.
I'll fix you, Catch. Play tough with me, would you?
Get going. Think yourself lucky I don't break your neck.
My pal. And I thought you were a regular fella.
I don't take bribes. You know what I'm going to do for you, for free? I'm going to send for your file the moment you're out of here. And I'm going to do you over personal. And it'll be a pleasure.
Now, look, Jack.
It's bad enough when the man in the street starts fiddling with his tax. But you used to work here. You were a trained investigator. You should know better. And I'm going to come down on you like 10 yards of ready-mixed cement.
Okay. Go ahead, do it. Wreck my home. And just wait and see what happens to yours. Just wait and see, that's all, Catch.
Get going, Limpy. If you're not through that door in 10 seconds, we'll have to collect from your widow.
You're gonna change your mind, Johnny. See if you don't.
That's the sort of thing makes me see red. An ex-employee of the department falsifying his tax returns is the same thing as a cop turning crook. Offering me a bribe to fix things was the last straw, and I'm no camel. I turned up Limpy's name and file number in the general index and called through the records. This was going to be most enjoyable.
I'm sorry it took so long, Mr. Ketch. But here's that file at last.
Oh, that's okay, Miss Kennedy. The delay only prolonged the anticipation.
Oh, by the way, I have a message for you from Miss Frood.
Yeah?
She tried to call through, but your line was busy. She said not to forget you're having dinner at her apartment tonight, and also not to forget the shopping list she gave you.
Holy cow, I had. Say, what's the time? I'll go and get that steak while I think of it. Did Pat say how her cold was?
Oh, she thinks she'll be all right in another couple of days.
Nasty things. They hang on and on this weather. Hey, do me a favor, will you? Find Marty Burke and get him to hold the fort. I should be back in about an hour. Too bad. I was looking forward to a nice sadistic afternoon on this character's file.
You really enjoy this sort of thing, don't you, Mr. Ketch?
What sort of thing?
Nailing some poor taxpayer's hide to a fence.
It's my job, Sugar. I've got to like it. And by the way, Mary Bridget, you'd better start getting used to it, don't you think?
Oh? Why's that?
Well, it's Marty Burke's job, too, and from what I hear...
Look, I've been to a movie once with Marty. I've had lunch with him the same number of times.
And tonight?
Tonight's off. I just told Marty.
Off? What do you mean, off? You can't do that to Marty Burke. He's a sensitive type, and this sort of thing might give him a complex that'll blight the rest of
Stop talking hogwash. I've got to fly north on tonight's plane. Mr. Allerdale's given me a couple of days off. It's a matter of illness.
Your mother?
No, my eldest daughter.
The more I saw of this girl, the more I liked her. And the more suitable she'd be as a wife for Marty. She had a sense of humor. And let's face it, anyone marrying Marty would need one. By the time I'd tracked down a couple of 2-inch steaks, the afternoon was all shot, so I called it a day and went straight to Pat Froude's apartment. 3 hours later, I opened the door to my apartment and found I had company.
Hello, Johnny. Finally showed up, huh?
Marty! For Pete's sake, what are you doing here?
Getting more depressed?
What's that you're drinking?
Manhattan cocktail.
What? Where did you get that stuff?
Ordered, of course. For my date tonight. Only Mary Bridget broke it. I had to fly north to see her sick mother, she said.
Yeah, so she told me.
Jack, what's wrong with me? Why don't girls go for me?
Well, that bottle of firewater could be one reason. Marty, that sort of thing went out of date with the December 25 issue of College Humor. Pour it down the sink and have a real drink.
No, I'd better get going. By the way, there's a letter for you. It was under the door when the janitor let me in.
Huh? Oh, is this it over here? Yeah, I can see. What's the gag?
Gag?
Oh, this is addressed to Mrs. Jack Ketch. Everyone knows that I'm... Well, I'll be... Hey, read this, Marty.
Dear Mrs. Ketch, perhaps you love your husband, perhaps you don't. If you'd like a divorce, I can supply you with the evidence and well wishes. I don't get it. You're not married.
Yeah, I know that. But I know someone who thinks I am.
But so what? You're not married, so where's the point of this note?
The point, Marty, is blackmail.
Well, whoever the dope is, he's in for a shock.
Marty, you ain't kidding. But he was kidding. So was I. I was the one due for a shock. Because when I got to my desk in the Federal Building next morning, Limpy Kneebone's file was gone.
We'll return to Jack Ketch and the case of Marty's bride in just a minute. Meanwhile... We return you to T-Men, with Jack Ketch continuing his true-to-life adventure, The Case of Marty's Bride.
Here at the Special Investigation Branch of the Federal Department of Taxation and Revenue, you get to learn a lot about people. The astonishing thing is that ex-T-Man Limpy Kneebone hadn't found out more about me before mailing that letter, which, thinking I was married, he addressed to my wife. It was part of a blackmail scheme to make me kill a case we had on him for tax evasion, under threat of causing a divorce in the Ketch family. Being a bachelor, I didn't scare easily. At least I didn't until I found that Limpy's file had vanished off my office desk. Then things started to look serious.
These things don't just walk away, Jack. Are you sure it's gone?
Look for yourself, Marty. It was here on my desk yesterday afternoon, and now where is it? Mary Bridget brought it to me from records, and I left 2 minutes after to go shopping for Pat.
What's the matter?
Mary Bridget.
What about her?
Nothing. I'm wondering, that's all.
Now, wait a minute, Ketch. If you're thinking she grabbed that file...
Limpy offered me $5,000 to fix things, didn't he?
And you threw him out. What makes you think you're the only honest character around the Federal Building?
All I know is the only file on my desk is for a character named Philberg. What it's doing there, I don't know. But Limpy's was here, and it's not here now.
Are you sure?
You know the way across the records. Take a prowl.
What's the number of Limpy's file?
It's there in my desk pad.
KG66234. Okay. I'll go look for myself.
Investigation, Ketch.
Know who this is, Jack?
Listen to me, you rat.
What's the matter, Johnny? Is the shoe pinching a bit?
It'll be okay after I plant it where it belongs.
You're not going to do a thing, pal, except what I say. Did Mrs. Ketch get a letter last night? I see she did, huh?
What do you expect me to do?
Put through a clean skin report on my file.
But you know I can't do that. You worked here once. You know it'd be more than my life's worth to do a thing like that, Limpy.
Your life, yes. How about your wife, friend?
But I can't take a bribe.
Nobody's offering you one. That was yesterday. Today, you'll do it for free. If you don't, I'm going to tell your wife about a certain redhead named Pat Frood.
How'd you find that out?
I'm a private eye, Johnny. At present, divorces are my specialty.
Look, Limpy, can't we talk this over?
We're talking it over. You have until Monday at noon to make up your mind, boy. Be sensible. Which is worth more to you, 20 grand I owe the government, which you'll never see, or the little woman? I'll call you at noon Monday. Have a nice weekend.
It's the last you're going to have for a long time, brother. I'll get you not only for tax evasion, but for attempted extortion, blackmail, arson, and murder.
Hey, Jack.
Marty, what do you know? Limpy just rang and he's hooked.
Is he now?
One thing, we know he didn't have that file hoisted. Otherwise, he wouldn't be hopping on this blackmail ramp.
Of course we know he didn't. Here it is, dope.
Marty, where was it?
In the cabinet. Limpy's file is 66324, not 234. You asked Mary Bridget for 66234, and that's what she brought you. Look at the number on Philberg's file there. See what I mean?
Say, that's right enough.
You owe that girl an apology.
And she'll get it. A fine girl, that, Marty. Makes someone a splendid wife.
Yeah, but who?
I spent most of the weekend nutting out how I could trap my man. By Monday morning, I had a plan all set. The only catch being that Pat Frood was still down with that cold. So I had no wife to bait the trap. And then, in walked Mary Bridget. So here's the setup, Mary Bridget. This character who's trying to blackmail me into breaking the law thinks I'm married. And if I don't do as he says, he's going to tell my wife about Pat Frood.
But why worry? You haven't got a wife.
Oh, look, sugar, I'll explain again. So that I can trap him, I've got to pretend to have a wife. So that when I tell him to go jump in the lake, he'll go to this wife of mine and start the smear.
But so what, Mr. Ketch? It'll only be her word against his.
Look, suppose you let me worry about that part. In point of fact, when he calls me at noon, a tape recorder will go into action. When he calls at my apartment to see Mrs. Ketch, as he threatens, another tape recorder will spin. That way, we'll have both the threat and the carrying out of the threat. You catch on?
I think so. Oh, but one thing, that is.
Yeah?
Why tell me all this?
Because, Mary Bridget, for today, you're going to be Mrs. Ketch. I had Marty Burke take Mary Bridget over to the apartment and rig up the recorder and conceal the microphone. All she had to do was start it running the moment my door buzzer went. I had another recorder tied to my desk phone, then sat and waited for Limpy to call at noon. I should have known better.
I hope you don't mind me dropping by instead of using the phone, Jack. You know, I've actually heard of people using tape recorders to take down phone conversations.
Very smart.
I've forgotten more tricks in this racket than you'll ever know, Ketch. Well, what's the decision? You're going to smother up for me or pay alimony?
I'm ordering an immediate investigation on you, Limpy. Going right back to when you quit here 4 or 5 years ago.
You said it, Jackie boy. You, mind if I go call on the little woman?
What little woman? You've got a surprise coming, Limpy. I'm not married.
Is that so? Let's see. I got your phone number written down here. Here we are. Pass the phone, Johnny.
Look, Limpy, can't we settle this some way?
Sure, start talking.
Hello?
Is, this Mrs. Ketch?
Yes. Mrs. Ketch speaking. Who is...
I'll see you around, sucker. You could have been $5,000 ahead. Instead of that and more behind. I hope the little woman takes you for plenty. Oh, and one other thing.
What's left?
When you order this investigation, remember I'll claim full favor under Section 172 of the Act.
172? But that confers light penalties on evaders who make voluntary confession.
Well, didn't I come to you and tell you I was into the department for $20,000? Did you have to twist my arm?
I'd like to twist your neck, you dirty crook.
At least my racket doesn't include adultery.
Revenge was going to be extra sweet. I rang Mary Bridget and warned her he was on his way, and to ring back the moment he'd gone. An hour passed. 2 hours. 3. Funny. Marty and I drove over to my apartment to investigate.
That's pretty queer, don't you think, Jack? The place is empty.
I can't understand it, Marty. I told Mary Bridget quite definitely to phone the office as soon as Limpy had gone. She hasn't done that, she hasn't come back to the office, and she's not here.
I don't like the look of it, Johnny. That Limpy's a smart cookie. What if he tumbled to the setup and took it out on the girl?
Don't be silly, he wouldn't. Hey, look. Why don't we try over the tape and see what's on it? Maybe we'll get a lead from that. Where'd you hide it?
In this cabinet arrangement. Hey, it's been used. I'll run the tape back and play it over.
Doesn't look as though much has been used. I told her to start it when he rang, to take all the spool if need be.
Right. We're back at the start of the tape. Here goes.
This'll be him. Keep your fingers crossed, Mary Bridget.
Mrs. Ketch, my name's
Limpy!
Mary Bridget. What in the Pete's name are you doing here?
Limpy, don't say a word. It's a trap. There's a tape recorder going in that cabinet over there.
Is there now? Well, I'll soon fix Mr. Ketch and his tape.
That's all, Johnny.
Marty, she knew him. All the time she knew. A perfect trap, and he had the devil's own luck to know the girl.
Yeah, but how? How could Mary Bridget know a man who lives...
Grab your hat, Marty. Back to the office. There it is, Marty, in black and white. I've had Limpy's file by me all weekend, and I still didn't see that. Look, the name. Leonard Kneebone. Marital state, married. Name of wife?
Mary Bridget Kneebone.
3 kids.
And that's the girl you wanted to marry me off to. After this, I'll never get married as long as I live.
Catch investigation, I think.
Oh, Jack, Charlie on the desk. Got a message for you, bud. This time you're in real trouble.
Yeah?
Yeah, Pat Frode's been ringing. She wants to know who's the dame with a blonde voice who's been answering your phone and calling herself Mrs. Ketch. Some spot, eh, Bob?
It makes 2 of us that's never going to get married. A sorry end to a neat trap. We got Limpy on the tax evasion charge, of course. Couldn't miss. But the other, no dice. We never found out how his wife came to be working for the department, neither of them would say a word. My own guess is that they had a splat over Limpy's evasions, and she walked out without telling him where she was and what she was doing. But, of course, she could have been there for another reason. Now, we screen every employee having access to confidential files, and we keep a close eye on their relatives' tax returns, too. Of course, the darn pity of it is, she would have made Marty a fine wife. This is a great country. It costs a lot of money to run and to keep running. That's why we have taxes. Taxes are scales so that everyone...
You have been listening to T-Men, the true-to-life adventures of those men whose job it is to discover and bring to account those citizens who, by concealment, deception, or fraud, evade their lawful taxes. T-Men features Gordon Glenwright as Jack Ketch. The Case of Marty's Bride was written and directed by Donovan Joyce. All names used in this broadcast were fictitious and bore no relation to any living person. T-Men is a Donovan Joyce production. This is Hart McGuire speaking.